Hey, this is Mitch. Mitch's Rant Time here. We're gonna do another spawn to Buzzfeed, my favorite. Um, we're gonna watch a video together called "Being a Man in the Workplace," and then we're gonna watch it together. Then I'm gonna go back to a few parts and see what you guys think. I'm probably gonna pause it a little bit too. Um, but I watched this and I want to see what you guys think. So as always, as much as I don't mind being stereotyped as like men are gross or men have no filters kind of a thing, um, I'm really eager. What would be the reaction if it were, say, women being a woman in the workplace, which is pretty much what it's supposed to be. Big surprise, spoiler alert. It's about being a woman in the workplace, not being a man in the workplace. Um, and if women were portrayed as snarky or gossipy all the time, or always on their phone, or things like that. Not being, doing their makeup on the job. If that was seen, what, especially the writers and producers and actors at Buzzfeed, how they would feel. Would they feel as if that was a fair characterization, or if that was just a blanket stereotype? Let's watch.
When like people, it's a very clickable title.
No.
Yeah.
You're the best writer at this table.
So with that first scene, we're gonna see a lot of scenes that are kind of comparable to this. So with that first one, with that, people get ignored all the time. It's not so much necessarily a woman thing as it's more of personality. Um, it's more of an introvert versus extrovert, which I think is actually something that should really be tackled by things people, quote unquote, these like soft advocacy groups like BuzzFeed tackle what it's like to be an introvert, what it's like to be an extrovert, and maybe a way for extroverts to be more active in bringing introverts out of their shell, and introverts and being more active to bringing extroverts to understand them, maybe. Um, in a way of trying to kind of give and take and have both be helped. Because as someone who's defines himself both as being introverted and extroverted, yes, I was very much an introvert as a kid, and there are a lot of times where I still am introverted in certain situations. But I'm very much an extrovert, outspoken, outgoing, more willing to speak my mind, and I would be making YouTube videos if I wasn't. But it's it's more of that. It's more of how rude people are, and there's a thing that it just doesn't get to until later, and they don't show it with the woman's side, just with the man's side. So it doesn't really give an example of it in the beginning, but it does later. It just really kind of annoys me, and there's just a lot of things that bug me as to what's being suggested and the underlying reason why based on the title, and what we're supposed to think is why, and not explaining maybe that it's something else, that it's these are management, these are just other writers, this is just annoying people. I mean, there are rude people at work, at any person's work, whether they're male or female, that just only want to talk what they want to talk, only want to hear what they want to have to hear. You have that with everybody. You have bosses that are real pricks, whether they're female or male. I've had female and male bosses. Um, some female bosses I've had have been real pricks, some male bosses I've had have been real pricks. Usually the female bosses I've had have been better, but, you know, I've also had some male bosses I'm like friends with. So it kind of depends on which way you want to go with that. There's a lot more to it, and that's the thing. There's a lot more to it than just sexism. It's kind of like, let's turn this back to like when a creationist says, "Oh, see this? It must mean God." Well, no, that is evidence of evolution through, genetics, or genetic drift, and explaining everything, how the scientific evidence points to something else. It has to point to that specifically. It cannot be open to be multiple possibilities. which that's what it is. This is an instance where that guy could just be a dick. She could be an introvert, doesn't want to speak her mind. It could be that she's new and they don't know her. You don't know the situation. So to just be like, oh, well, she's being ignored because she's a woman. There's just a problem with that. I mean, you want to illustrate it in a better way. That's just a dick, okay? I don't know any guy who is professional, who actually cares about their job, who would not acknowledge everyone in the room. I don't care who the fuck you think you are. You acknowledge everyone. You acknowledge everybody because you're a professional, because you love your job. And you know, as a writer or an actor, that these other people are artists as well, and you want to acknowledge them and work with them. And especially because he's an artist, he's going to be a liberal motherfucker. So he's going to want to meet a woman, especially a woman of color. So don't play this shit. More than likely, the person he's going to ignore is the main character, the white dweeby male. And just like, oh, you're a writer? Great. Are you a writer because you're Jewish? That's what he would ask. And make a joke about it. Oh, are you making a joke? Oh, you're a writer because you're Jewish. Ha 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 ha. You're the comedy writer, and assume that he shouldn't take him seriously. That would be the thing. But we're not going to play that up here. We're not going to play in reality. We're going to pretend that this happens all the time. Now, it may happen to these people. These writers may say, yeah, this has happened. And unfortunately, there are dicks that do it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying this is something that is a flaw character of this dickhead on the right, in the white. Not so much a systemic problem.
Whenever you're ready. I like Animal Planet a lot. I think you should definitely contact them.
So again, this is more of guys walking and talking. She was walking with them, they go into the restroom. It happens a lot of times too with guys. Guys talking with a woman, she has to go into the restroom, and they stop and wait. Oh well, you can't follow them into the restroom to go to the restroom because it's a men's only restroom. We have a women's only restroom. We do have them. Sorry. If you're transgender, you should be able to go in there, of course, but sorry. And this whole scene. Who the fuck does that at work? What fucking professionals have fucking Nerf gun wars at work? Seriously. You've got to be a privileged motherfucker to be able to have that shit and not get your ass fucking fired. Especially if you hit someone.
So go ahead and get that number from them, and I'm just going to have you contact them. Okay, great. Fantastic. Thanks, Greg.
Again, just a dick. Doesn't even acknowledge her and say, hey, thanks for talking, sorry I couldn't get to you, I gotta get going. That is just a dick. That isn't anything else but a dick. That guy is a dick. You should just be like, okay, this guy, he's just a dick. But if I were to explain that, yeah. And then the other guy, the young guy, he's just stupid. See? Getting fired right there. You're gonna get fired because you hit her. So this is just lack of inclusiveness. They want to sit over there. They want to sit over there. It's not like they can't go over to the conversation. They could. If the conversation isn't talked about, something they want to talk about, oh well. The thing is, too, this guy is probably a celebrity or someone at the top. Everybody's trying to kiss their ass. The guys are kissing their ass right now in hopes to get a promotion. The sad thing is, if a woman kisses a guy's ass, more than likely it's viewed as sexual advancement, unfortunately. Yeah, I agree. That's a bit of a problem. That's something that would be a better thing of, women can't, just in general, people of the opposite sex can't make any sort of, conversation without seeming like you're wanting to make a sexual romantic advancement. That would be a big one to talk about. The fact that we still have the stigma that if you're of the opposite gender, you must want to fuck them. No. But we're not going to do that, though. We're not going to actually do real shit. No, we're just going to do this.
You guys don't want to join in on the free fun? The new senior producer is buying us all-you-can-eat mozzarella sticks.
We're good. Yeah, I think it's a pass. I think so.
You had like a bad day?
Something like that.
Alright.
Okay, so the other thing, too, he goes over there and he asks, like, you guys having a bad day? And that, if he really cared, he would have continued to say, well, what happened? What's wrong? Come on out then. Maybe it'll help. He would have been more open to that. So this is, again, it's not working correctly. And, again, as I brought up with the whole sexual thing, first off, if you've worked with any guys, especially single guys, they flirt. People flirt with each other. If they're single, whether they like each other or not, whether they're sexually attracted to each other or not, they will talk to each other and flirt with each other if they don't have any animosity towards each other. So again, this is not really, especially with as unprofessional and lax as they have it, to where you can run around with fucking Nerf guns shooting each other. These people be flirting. The only reason they're flocking to this guy is to kiss his ass. That's what's going on. So this situation doesn't really express a real problem. Now, of course, when they get to the next part, after what is about to happen, then they show other things and try to make examples. But most of them are actually faux examples as well. We'll get to that in a second.
Hey, does anyone have a tampon?
Oh,
Oh, perfect.
girl, we
thanks.
sing.
Oh, thank you. All right, I'm gonna put these in myself.
So I guess this is trying to poke fun at the whole, like, oh, tampons are gross thing, which, I mean, I don't know, maybe I must be a minority of men, supposedly. I don't find tampons gross or periods gross. It's a natural part of being alive. It's a part of our biology. Females have menstrual cycles, big fucking deal. I wouldn't be upset if that, in fact, if I had a tampon thrown at me, I'd keep it, because I'd be like, oh, well, you know, keep one in my car if ever someone needs one, or if I fucking have an open wound and need to, you know, dress it, use a fucking tampon. It's more useful than that. And in fact, it probably is nice to have something like that, a tampon or a pad around, for both that super weird, you know, like, survivalist part, and then two, if you are either in an environment where you work with women a lot, or you have a lot of female friends, having it around is a good thing. You're thinking of your friends. So again, I mean, what's the equivalent for men? What would we have? I'm gonna go jerk off? No. I'm gonna go pee? Oh well. We announced we're gonna pee, saying, oh, we're gonna pee. Oh well. Women do that too sometimes. I gotta go to the restroom. Sorry, I have to excuse myself for the ladies' room. A little bit more tact, sure, but I do like it though. They must have taken my advice. You can see at the bottom left of the screen the clutter of fucking goos and shit, and the roses everywhere, and that. It's supposed to be like, this is how a woman's job would be like. Well, it honestly seems rather relaxing. I like the music. Oh my gosh, they did show him gossiping. I wonder if the women were offended by this, or if they were okay with it. Like, oh, this is what we do because we're women. Oh, wait a minute. So if you're trying to get away from this, or are you trying to maintain the binary and say, well, we have the binary and one world's one way and one world's the other way and it has to be that way? Or are you not trying to reach a center of neutrality where both can exist on equal footing? What are you trying to get at?
Hey, can you look at the script I wrote?
Sure. Yeah, like for notes?
No, just like make sure there's nothing offensive about it.
Why me?
You know, like there's nothing offensive to men.
Oh.
Thanks.
So see, this is something where it's like, this is kind of a hard one, because as someone who's been in you know, an atheist among religious people, I guess you would say sort of conservative, being a libertarian among liberals, and then, you know, I don't see this as really being a bad gesture. Sure, she could have just said, hey, you know, could I just get a guy's perspective on this real quick? That's all you had to say it. But she may have been awkward because she was worried about offending him. See, again, this is something where it's actually a nice gesture. She's actually trying to be what you fucking idiots want. But you don't get that. Instead, it's like, oh gosh, that's so annoying. Asking me because I'm the only guy. Why can't you just learn? Well, maybe because they're different. Because you're already establishing in this that there's a big difference of two worlds, of two mindsets, of two ways of doing things. So you can't establish that and play off of that and then get upset when the woman can't be like, oh, well, I can't do that, because you're pretty much saying that men do it. And say, hey, can you check this script, make sure it's not offensive? What do you mean? Well, you know, nothing that would upset a woman. That is trying. That is doing what needs to be done. So if this is a complaint about that, then you're just shooting yourself in the foot and really have gone way, way off point.
And then my grandpa comes in
to be Bernie.
Oh,
That
that
would
is
be a really
good.
good political
That is
sketch.
so
Yeah, I
funny.
like that.
Let's do that one for sure. So, any ideas about where the day drinking sketch could take place?
Maybe at a baseball
What
game.
about brunch?
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What? That's perfect.
I know.
Yeah, actually, I can write it. I've been hitting a lot of brunch spots.
You know, we're actually going to put Brittany on this one. She's just written a lot of these, and I think her voice really works well with that subject. Yeah. But we do have a sponsored video coming in that you'd be amazing for. It's for a golf club company.
Like,
I swore that
No,
you were like.
your voice would be so good for it.
I'm happy to try new things.
Yeah,
I
you'll
guess.
shine on this
I'm
one.
okay.
So this brunch spot.
See, again, this goes back to, I mean, I understand that the reason what they're getting at is he's a guy, so it's sports related. Which, I mean, and to be honest, if you don't understand sports, you're not going to understand the nuance of that. I mean, that would be like, in a way, saying, well, hey, Mitch, you know, there's a thing on you know, that game Battlefield. I don't play Battlefield. Oh, but it's a video game. You're a gamer, right? It's the same thing. It's just an innocent mistake. But of course, they're going to say it as like, oh, you don't know me and all of that. Well, they work with each other. Do you want to have intimate friendships with these people, or do you just want to be workplace associates? You've got to pick. You can't just be like, oh, you don't know, and that. Yeah, sure, it's annoying. I don't like golf, and it's like, well, you're going to do that. But also, this is where it seems like, the way they're making it out, like those three are more in control than he is. And he's more of an introvert at this point. He's not saying like, hey, no, I don't want to do that. You know, and he's being workable. He's saying, well, I guess I'll try new things. Now, sure, he's being kind of pressured into it, but it sounds like it's the decision of the woman who said, well, we're going to put Christy on that, or whatever, you know, her name. We're going to put someone else on that instead of you because we think she's going to do better. And that's fine. You know, we want you to do this. And when you're not in charge in a job, that's kind of how it goes. So you have to learn that you're going to be given assignments that you don't like. As a man, as a woman, as a black guy, black, straight, gay, Asian, Hispanic, Muslim, Christian, atheist, whatever. You're going to be given assignments you don't like, especially if you're lower on the management totem pole, on the work totem pole, if you're new or whatever. Again, it could be this guy is new, it could be a lot of things, but they don't really expand on that. They don't give us much to understand the context other than he has a penis, they have vaginas.
Oh my god. Where?
Hey, can you pick up that cake down the street for Jen's birthday? I've got to write this brunch script.
What? Why me?
We all work for the same team.
Again, this is a shit runs downhill thing. It's as if these people have never worked in a place where you're lower on the totem pole. It's as if they just worked in a place where everybody's equal, and it's like, well, I'm equal to you, why can't you do it? Well, she's asking you. She's asking you nicely, hey, can you get this? I'm doing this. That's all. Now, sure, she should have been polite and been like, here's $10. Can you just, you know, I'll split it. Can you just go get this for me? I've had managers do that. Hey, here's $20. Go get us a pizza. We just did our truck. We just unloaded the, you know, for the truck crew. Can you go do that? Sure, I can go do that. Can you take this to the bank? Can you do this? Yeah, you have people who are below the managers who do the footwork. Because the managers have to stay. She's not a manager, obviously. She's another coworker. But she should have done that. She should have given the money. That's it. That's all. That's all. What the fuck is he doing? Working on the golf one? He doesn't like golf. Besides, it gives him a chance to get the fuck out. I would jump at that. If I'm in an environment where I don't want to be, I'd jump at, yeah, I'll get the fuck out. I'll get a cake, get myself some a fucking brownie or something, and a soda or a tea or whatever, and come back and enjoy my fucking day and work on my shit alone. Or work with this lady here. She seems to be bored with cake.
Yum.
As,
See?
You know, the kind of the office.
Hi, I am so sorry I'm late. Hey, I'm
Hi.
Jessica. Jessica, hi. You ready to run this scene real quick?
Oh, I'm not an actor. I'm one of the writers.
My bad. You don't really look like a writer. Anyway, is there anything else that I need? Should I just get started?
So again, I kind of want to go into this. She comes in, and again, I would say too, she, just like the other guy, a fucking asshole. Probably because she's a director or something. Maybe directors are dicks. Second off, I want to say, again, as I brought up, this guy does look kind of like a writer. I mean, he has the dwerby white Jewish look. You know what I mean? That's the archetype he's playing. That's what they've made him out to be. So, you know, that's who he's supposed to be. And besides, there's no look of a writer. I've never heard of that. You don't look like a writer. I've heard of more of you don't look like an actor. Secondly, let's go back a little bit to where she comes in. right about here. Look at his position. He's up, talking at them with the script in his hand. What would that make me think? That would make me think, oh, these are two writers or directors or producers, and he's up acting it out. It's easy to mix that up. But instead of saying, oh, sorry, my bad, or sorry, it looked like you were just, presenting or whatever, what does it turn up to be? And she could be a fucking bitch actress, too. What does it turn up to be?
Office.
Hi, I am so sorry I'm late. Hey, I'm
Hi.
Jessica. Jessica, hi. You ready to run this scene real quick?
Oh, I'm not an actor. I'm one of the writers.
My bad. I don't really look like a writer. Anyway, is there anything else that I need? Should I just...
Again, yeah, she's actually the actress, obviously, but again, just a bitch, just a cunt. Not a good person, just a mean person.
Let's get started?
Yeah, let's just
Great.
get started.
No, I thought it was great.
There's like so many different voices in there.
Yeah, I love how the major conflict was ultimately herself. It was like so relatable.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you go.
You can go.
Well, honestly, it's a 20-page script, and the only male characters you have are creepy Uber driver, the cat caller, and the boyfriend.
Yeah, but the boyfriend's one of the main characters.
He hardly has a personality. You can clearly tell that it's written by a woman because it's only about his looks. He's just there as an object.
That's an interesting.
And see, there's one complaint where I do understand and definitely agree. Women are a lot of times put in to media as eye candy, which is wrong. And yeah, girlfriends a lot of times, significant others are just, conflict catalysts, plot progressors. They're not actually people with personalities who do things. They just have one archetype. They typically you need to grow up or the selfish person. So agreed, that happens a lot. And that happens a lot in a lot of movies with males that have female characters. Agreed. Good point. Great point. So they have one good point.
Point of view. Why don't you email that to me, or you could just take notes on this whole meeting and email those to me too.
I forgot my laptop.
Because they asked you to take...
So that's the thing too. I've never noticed that other than I don't necessarily get what that's supposed to be getting at. Is it saying that women don't to their laptop? Is it making a secretary reference? Like, oh, you're the secretary, can you take notes on everything? Well, it's supposed to be something they're all supposed to do if they're going into there as equals. I'm confused as to who's supposed to be in fucking charge. There's no establishment of that. Who's leading the meeting? There's always someone who's leading the meeting. Even if there isn't a leader leading the meeting, someone is leading the meeting. And it just gets back to this confused as to, is it that he's at the bottom of the totem pole and shit's just rolling downhill? Is it because he's a man? Is it because he's unprepared and didn't bring his laptop and they're just trying to put him on the spot? Is it saying that men forget their notes and that all the time? I know I do. Is that supposed to be a jab at men for being unprepared? Is that what they're trying to say? We're prepared, you wouldn't survive in our world? What are they getting at?
Notes?
Not just that, it just, the whole thing feels a little sexist.
You think women in the office are being sexist? Which women?
I don't think that they're sexist. I think maybe they really don't believe that they have the ability to understand my perspective. I know these don't seem like a big deal to you, but...
So there's a difference between sexism and, I guess you would say, ignorance. There's a difference between bigotry and ignorance. Being ignorant of someone else's perspective is not the same as being bigoted to someone else. being bigoted to someone else, is holding some sort of negative views towards someone and being willfully ignorant, choosing not to actually investigate that other person's perspective and admit that that other person is a human and deserves to be treated with respect and honor and kindness and compassion and equality. Ignorance, just plain ignorance, being unaware, is literally just being unaware. Sure, they may not be willing to do this, but there's a big difference.
They have real repercussions on my career. If this continues, I'm going to be in the same exact position in 10 years while all my female colleagues are promoted. That's a huge problem.
So this is something I'm not necessarily really truly big on. I don't really know. I don't really work in a big in an area where there's a lot of advancement. I do know where I do work, there are areas where women advance and men advance at similarly equal rates. One of my jobs I work at, both of them being minimum wage jobs, of course. Where the higher-ups are more women, others where the higher-ups are more men. One is a locally owned franchise of a larger corporation. Another is just straight up corporation, but a smaller corporation. It's only on it's a very small region of the country the corporation takes up. It doesn't take up nearly, not even like a quarter of the nation. But both are corporations. And a lot of the management in the smaller corporation, it's mixed. There are women managers, men managers. There's no real differentiation between who can be what. I mean, our district manager is a woman. My store manager is a man. We've had rotations of assistants and secondary managers who have been men and women, and it's the same with the other place I was at. One of the higher, more experienced female managers was a woman. She quit. The owner's a man, but the owner owns two parts. He has a mini franchise within the company where there are managers that are men and women, male and female, of all ages. Another place I used to work for also had a lot of female and male management, and it was different. There was some favoritism more towards the female managers to a certain point. They were getting more hours over the male managers who were more experienced but not, who understood more. There were complaints, being made, I remember, floating around about that. Whether or not that was sexist or just favoritism or what, I don't know. But to chalk it up as just sexism, just because one is male and one is female, is a little bit ignorant. Sure, keep it on the table as a potential, one of the potential problems. Don't toss it out off, right off the bat, unless there's obviously, but don't drop the gavel as soon as you can say, there's a sexual difference, it must be sexism. You can't just do that. So this is where I really have trouble. And again, I've never worked in a place where I have more potential for career advancement, and I could understand. I could definitely try to empathize with this person, being in a place where they feel like their voice isn't heard in that. But this is where you have a therapist or a counselor for a company, and they have that, and that's a big fucking privilege. Again, this is all from a privileged perspective. This is all from the upper middle class perspective, which is a little bit ignorant, willfully ignorant of the troubles of the lower middle, of the middle class and the lower middle class, or the working poor, who don't know what it's like to be able. We don't have the luxury of going into a company or firm counselor and telling them our problems at work, who can help us and either in confidence or talk to our supervisors too, and give us support to talk to our supervisors and actually work out things, to worry about whether or not I'm going to advance my career or be stuck in the same job. To have that option. And this is the thing, most of the people this is targeted at are the working poor and the middle class. And those people don't have that. They are all equal. And you're telling those people that they're not. But let's watch.
Right. I can see you're really emotional about this. What if we just take a couple weeks, just reevaluate the position, see if it's right for you?
You mean change departments?
We'll see.
So again, this is more to me an example of just a shitty counselor. The problem is she could just be a counselor that really doesn't like this person. Instead of it just being doing that because he's a man, it could just be that she's a shitty counselor. That's all. I mean, we don't have to, again, chalking it up to being some sort of bigotry is just a little too quick.
Oh, fuck!
Oh, holy shit. You guys will never believe what I just went through. It's like no one was listening to me or taking me seriously. Because there's like this system was already in place that I wasn't a part of.
I'm sorry. Gotta work the patriarchy in there, can't you? It can't just be that maybe, like you had said, your coworkers are ignorant, and you want to reach out to them, which is a very much a legitimate concern. And that counselor was a shitty counselor. She should have said, okay, well, maybe we could work on that. Nope. He was a part of matriarchy.
Or I would have to push my way through entirely to even have a chance at
Dude, the head is...
Pushing away entirely to have a chance at that. That's how it is now. That's how it is for millennials and Generation Y now. That's how it is now. Getting an education doesn't get you shit. Most people who are between the age of like 22 and 35 that have bachelor's degrees and master's degrees are still working shit jobs because they can't fucking get one. And they didn't just get it in gender studies or whatever. They got it in engineering, biology, communications, whatever. They got actual fucking degrees and can't find a fucking job. And they apply to places where you can have careers with benefits and, actual shit like they do. Not as cool as being allowed to have people have Nerf wars in the office, but still. Again, I kind of wish the people who tell many of us to check our privilege would check their own.
Buying. Everyone drinks out of Flanagan's right now. You gotta come right the fuck now, dude. You gotta come right the fuck now. Come on.
I gotta go right the fuck now.
Yes! Yes!
And this is just young people in general. That's a thing that most people do. It's just young people want to party and drink anyway. When you're making it out like these women are like, oh, we don't want to go out and drink. Would they? Would they not? Maybe it's just them not wanting to. Maybe they're throwing their own little clique there. Not wanting to go around, not wanting to go along. That'd be a good way to break that. Go out with them with drinks and talk with them. Maybe get to know them. They might respect you more. Unfortunately, it's you having to do more work, yes, but that might be a way to get to know them and be able to work a connection to where you could reach them. They'd want to listen to you because they would maybe be able to see you as a real person. Unfortunately, it'd have to be in a platonic setting instead of a professional setting, but still. But no, we can't have any rational ideas. And the funniest thing was, they were listening and he was opening up. And then he just stops, like, oh, drinks, gets distracted by drinks. Again, we're going to make the stereotype thing. It's like, you have I wonder how many heavyset women were upset by the heavyset woman who was like, yum, cake. Was that a stab at fat women? We don't know. We don't know. All these stabs at stereotypes. Men are just, fucking like dogs that get distracted and go off just to do stupid, irresponsible shit. Sure, we do have we do that. Yes, that is a fitting stereotype. But is it fair if we did that to women? They did do a few of that, but it was little subtle touches. It wasn't quite as big as the ones for men. but we don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Thanks for watching. Bye.